Welcome back to the channel, Exiles. In this one, we're crafting a +1 Poison Spark Sceptre, just like this. This one is for my own build, but you could also profit craft these with a bit of luck. It adds a substantial amount of damage, base cast speed, and even more from Arcane Surge. Before we start today's craft, please remember to subscribe and like the video. This ensures you won't miss any future crafts and helps the channel grow. Thank you. Let's start with our base. We're using an Oscillating Sceptre, which originally comes from Heist. This grants elemental overload as an implicit. I've started by adding 30% quality via a perfect fossil, which we will need later. Our first step is to use Deafening Essences of Torment to roll until we hit +1 to level of all lightning skill gems. At this stage of the craft, it's the only mod you need to hit, so roll until we find it. Here we managed to hit +1 to all fire, but it's the wrong element. Keep going. And there it is, +1 to all lightning skill gems. We can now move on. The next step is to isolate the mods we actually need, which in this case is only the +1 lightning and added lightning damage to spells. We don't actually want the rest. An easy way to do this is to first craft cannot roll caster modifiers using the crafting bench. As both of the mods we want to keep have the caster tag, the Orb of Annulment won't remove them while we have the bench craft. Perfect, both gone. This is a nice trick to learn rather than risking removing mods you wanted to keep. Now that we have our mods isolated, the next step is to protect them using Prefixes cannot be changed. We're going to use an Ashling Unveil next, so this is essential. Next, we can purchase our Ashling Unveil. Because our prefixes are protected, this is guaranteed to replace the bench modifier. It typically doesn't matter if we hit a prefix or suffix unveil here, as the craft is quite flexible from here on. Either works, and we just modify which bench crafts we use later on. In this instance, we landed a prefix. Let's move to the unveil. In this next step, we have a total of 3 modifier slots left on the scepter. We need to fill with any of the 4 modifiers at the top of this image. 1 will come from your unveil, the other 2 will be bench crafted. Depending if you have a prefix or suffix veiled modifier, use a block before you unveil with Jun. Here we hit the lightning damage prefix, which works great. If you hit none of the modifiers on the previous list, you'll need to relock your prefixes and start again with Ashling. Prefixes are finished, so we can move on to suffixes. Start by replacing the block with can have up to 3 crafted modifiers. Then we add the veiled crafts mentioned previously, starting with chaos damage over time multiplier. And lastly, we then add cast speed and arcane surge on kill. If you're missing any of these crafts, they come from unveiling weapons looted from betrayal. Excellent. This scepter is almost finished. We have one little thing left to do by using an enchant. Using the harvest bench, we can enchant the scepter to grant increased elemental damage per quality. This is why we use perfect fossils early on to grant 30% quality. If you miss this step, you can still use a 30% hillock from betrayal without modifying the item. Either way works. And there we have our scepter, all finished and ready to go. The craft does have a few steps which can be difficult, mainly essences and ashling, but once you complete the craft, you shouldn't need to replace your weapon again for the league. If we price check the scepter, with cast speed, lightning damage, elemental overload, +1 lightning and chaos damage over time, prices seem to be around 25 divines in the current market. Our costs on this craft was close to 11 divines, which can be a nice profit if it was to be sold. However, keep in mind we didn't use a crazy amount of essences, and our ashling worked first time. Both of these steps could potentially cost you a lot more. So just be careful when it comes to costs if you're planning to craft for a profit. Thank you for watching. I hope the guide helps you. Please remember to like and subscribe, and feel free to check out my YouTube membership and Patreon. Links are in the description below. See you in the next one, Exiles.